When you come into the world, we take on the identity of those who are more powerful than us. What we're looking for is a kind of person who is looking for meaning. What's the meaning of life? Why am I here? Over the years, and I do not know the powers that move through me. Power moves through me. I am not the speaker. I speak from within. Him comes through me and flows to all the things that needed to be done in a wonderful ways that makes me smile. I have this special thing, and what I wish is that you never come back here after the first day. You should be cured, because the cure is very simple. So simple that I want to talk about the simplicity of it. You must not push any part of this yourself. It must flow magically. The word magic is not a good word, I forgot. But I want to share myself a little bit, because I can express it a little bit, because I have it over the many years. I like what you're coming here for, and many come back. But many of you come back and just listen. What I want you to do is to listen to me speaking, but is not speaking, if you know what I mean. I cannot cure you. Roy Masters cannot cure anything. It's not me. The fact that you've all come many times, I'm not pushing you away, don't think that I am. But the beauty of this is so beautiful. Why would I babble every week? No. What I have, you can have if you'd stop being upset. And that's one thing. Judgment is mine, saith the Lord. We're dealing with the Lord within me. Now understand this. I'm not the Lord. I'm not the speaker. I'm not the one that cures you. But I wish you go home today and not need to come back, because it's so simple. The sweetness of a person is within me. God doesn't play with darkness. He is light. I can't express the light, but it has something magic about it. And it isn't you. Understand, you'll be surprised. Just nice and surprised. Don't get excited. Just understand, you must throw away, before you can get justice, judgment, and forgiveness, it must come from within me somewhere, way back there. It must come there, and it mustn't be you. The judgment is mine, and so is forgiveness. The other stuff doesn't work. But we think it works. And the more you forgive, the more you have to forgive, because they take advantage of you. It's the same thing with judgment. It's mine. Because if I judge, you're not going to judge with value and honesty and wonderfulness. If you forgive, oh, I forgive, I love you. That's not real. all of which must come through quiet. And what will happen, you do not know, nor do you care to know. You just wait and see what is coming through you. This makes me smile.
So I'm going to tell a story that I think will help, that's a little more recent, okay? I was on an international flight one time. It was a 10-hour flight. At a certain point, you have to get up to go to the bathroom. So I got up and I went into this galley area, and there was 4 bathrooms, 2 on each side, and they were all available. And for whatever reason, I just took my fingers and I pushed one door open. They're all, they say open or occupied. Open is green and occupied is red. And I just pushed the door open, and there was a little girl sitting on the toilet, probably 5. I got a punch in the stomach, but without being touched. I immediately pulled the door closed, and I stood there, and I waited to make sure nobody else went in, because it was just a little girl. And she finally came out, and she ran down the aisle. And I thought, okay, well, I protected her from anybody else having that happen, because it's probably scary for her too. I went in the bathroom, I came back out. This big man comes up to me, and he's shaking, and he grabs my shoulder. He says, "You pervert! You pervert! You are sick. I'm going to tell the captain of the airplane on you and make sure you get in trouble." And I was like, what happened? He says, I was shocked. It was about 10 minutes later. She must have finally told her father. Some man walked in. "It's that guy right there."
And what you should have done, calm.
So what I did was I stayed calm, but it was a punch in the stomach.
I know.
But here's what happened.
Yeah.
I said to the man, "You should not have let your daughter go to the bathroom by herself. You should have sat there next to the door and waited, because she doesn't know how to lock that door." I said, "Shame on you. I did nothing but protect your daughter." So I sat there, but I felt what my dad just said, which was a rock in my stomach. It was on fire. It was so painful because I
was only 8 years old.
Okay, I was 48 years old, but to the same point, it was an injustice. I did nothing wrong. So the point that I'm making is, injustice is going to happen to you. That is your opportunity to be calm and let it go.
Correct. That's correct.
I'm done with my bathroom story.
Just calm. A certain kind of calm that comes from the inside, not from the outside. Just like judgment and forgiveness doesn't really work. It never works. It gets worse. You have to learn it. You have to find out how to stay calm. But you can't make yourself calm. You can only get rid of what makes you calm, anger. Drop that. If anybody wants to be angry, it's God. If a manner of speaking, He will do what's necessary for you if you just watch. I've been able to multiply this in a sense, and I wish I wouldn't have said that. I wish I could, because the gift I have came upon me, and it will come upon you if you get rid of all the things that are upon you in this world. Nobody can upset me, and no one can get away, because if they try to get upset, the biggest, strongest people, if I stand quiet. Now, this is not an ordinary standing quiet. Understand that. This is not a human one. This is a spiritual one. You're the extension of Him. Extension of Him is absolutely powerful. And I never have to watch things that people do to me, and I'm able to talk to some and help them. My flesh and blood is one thing, but the spirit of thinking, of thoughts and wisdoms and how you should be and the purpose of life. All of that must come from Him. And no one can upset you. No one can upset you. If you see the most horrible experience, calm. And if you're not calm, it will overcome you. And the bigger the calmer you get. And you always win, in a manner of speaking. It was during the war, and this person was a Jewish person. And the soldiers came in and killed 4 of his children. Just like that, bang. And he says, because when he was able to speak to somebody, and we'll go into that if you don't mind later on, or maybe I can put it in. He's just about to hate. And all of a sudden somebody says, that's not the way you do it. And he calmed down. Now, our soldiers, towards the end of the war, they came to the camps and seeing people lying, dying, rotting, not skinny. And when they come in, there was one person, and he was dressed in a little bit better than the people on the ground. But he doesn't look the same. He looks like he's perfectly normal. And he looks like he was perfectly normal, and he was. And all the other creatures on the ground, all the human beings on the ground, smelling and being eaten. It's all of them, hundreds of them. And the sergeant major said, how is it you're looking normal? You're dressed normal. You get good dress. How is it you're this way? And the man says, I really don't know. But when I was in Warsaw, they killed my 4 daughters right in front of my face. I was almost shocked when all of a sudden says, don't, stop now. It's going to get you. And I did. And he didn't cry for strange things. My mother dropped dead right in front of me. I didn't move. I didn't get a shock. And I thought to myself, what kind of person are you, Ori? Your mother falls dead right in front of you, and they come and get you, and they put a stretcher, and when they put them on the stretcher, the stretcher falls down on the ground. Calm. What is this calm? It's very similar to the man, you see. I have never cried. That's the funny part of it. It made me, when my mother, coming back to my mother, bang, she's on the ground. And I look, and let me continue with it. I'm remembering something more that goes with it. Afterwards, I thought to myself, what kind of person are you, Roy? I felt embarrassed, and so I think I better mourn for her. I started to mourn for her and got sick, very sick from that. I learned from that. See, I hate to say it. I gotta say it. I don't want to say it, but if your son drowns in front of you, you can't angry. It's done. You cannot allow yourself to be shocked. Otherwise, God can't help you. Always calm. Let things be things before you. Because there's nothing in me that will do anything in thee. All I know is I have to live and wait for everything that happens and calm. Not touchable. It's a tremendous power. It's a tremendous power that people admire. Always calm. Crying is something that comes from the world.
But let me ask you a question then, okay?
Yeah.
Because I haven't had, I had you as an example, so I haven't had many instances to cry. And one time I was very sad about something that happened. And I was lying in bed and my wife was lying next to me and she says, you know what? She goes, just let it out. Just go ahead, cry.
No.
And that's what I said. I
No.
said no. Because I didn't want to give in to the temptation to the feel-good side. Because to me, crying as a little boy always made me feel better. But the problem was always still there after the cry. But I felt better. But the problem was still there. And I felt like the cry was almost, I hate to say this, but orgasmic, if you know what I'm saying. Because it felt good, and it shouldn't feel good. I should not indulge in crying, and that was what I felt.
That's right. So that's the point I was saying. Like the soldiers, and you see these children being heads cut off and everything, and they hate towards the enemy, and then they bring the enemy home, and then they die because they don't know how to stop crying, and they die.
Is crying a trauma? Are we experiencing a trauma?
Look, I could see, I hate to say this, I've got to make it. If 20 people had their heads cut off and the blood spurting in your necks, calm. But the chances are, if you've done that long enough, something comes out and stop it. Where the others die, you don't. That's as best I can make. Because
there's a
the
strength and
magic,
force.
yes, the magic in there, which you can't really understand. It's a creator, and I can't talk to a creator. I can't speak to the creator. All I know, he's in me, and he makes me sweet, calm.
So last week I said, if you yield to the creator, he takes the trouble away and puts in his peace inside you.
Yes, he makes everything bad good. Everything bad good. Dear ladies and dear gentlemen, would you consider, when you see people you're going into a place to buy some food and you see a mother, shut up little kid, what would you do? What I would do is either not anything, but mostly I would say, excuse me, what did you do to that young lady, your daughter? And look at them, calm. And the child, I remember, I can remember it. I'm driving here from Los Angeles, and I went in to have some food, and I saw a man smashing his daughter, smashing, and I went up to him, calm, just like that. What has this child done to you? And the man shivered, and the little girl smiled. See how that was? I came to the rescue. There was some that understood her. That's all.